You looking to buy or upgrade to a new gaming streaming PC? Chances are the Starforge Voyager Creator probably isn't on your radar. In fact, you probably have never even heard of Starforge. But after this review, there's a chance it might make its way to your shortlist. Founded in August 2022 and based in Austin, Texas, Starforge Systems is a new player to this very saturated custom PC building scene. And for those who are in the know, Starforge has a lot of ties to the OTK streaming group, which chances are is how most people have actually heard of Starforge in the first place. Currently priced at $27.99, but usually $29.99, today we're reviewing the Starforge Voyager Creator, which is the cheapest model in the Voyager Creator series, which is followed by the Creator Pro and the Creator Elite. This model comes with a Core i7-13700K, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 Ti, and 32GB of DDR5, 6000 RAM, and 2TB of NVMe storage. This PC is designed for smooth 4K gaming and of course streaming, and can give you frame rates which easily exceed 100 FPS in most modern AAA games. Value of course is a very important point, and we'll definitely be discussing that throughout this review. There are a lot of system integrators out there and even direct PC brands like MSI which undeniably offer much better value for similar hardware. That said, and this is I think one of the biggest selling features with the Starforge Voyager Creator. Even though you can find very similar components and performance from those other builds, the Voyager Creator seems to have a leg up when it comes to its design. Housing everything, we find the very attractive and very popular Lee & Lee PC011 Dynamic Evo mid-tower case. And with that, just the right amount of RGB lighting that you'd expect. This is a pre-configured system and is fully warranted for 2 years of parts and labor. Now, being that this is a pre-build, it's unsurprising that there is a premium cost to all this, but it's definitely on the higher end at about $400 to $500 more than if you were to build a similar system yourself, or about $200 to $300 more than other comparable high-end system integrators. Now, aside from its design, cooling, and silent operation were clearly a priority when Starforge built this out. Even with more demanding games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Hogwarts Legacy, this is easily one of the quieter gaming PCs that I've recently tested. And for the most part, except for those lights, it's hard to actually tell it's running. Fan speeds will ramp up with prolonged rendering or CPU-intensive tasks, that's understandable, but the Voyager Creator still manages to offer a very quiet computing experience even during those demanding workloads. But maybe even cooler than those low temps, the Starforge does give you the chance to even watch your PC built live. This is a pretty unique experience, and I don't think I've actually seen any other system integrators offer this service. It's a really cool idea, and I actually would love to see others do so. Even though you're not assembling the PC yourself, it gives you a deeper connection and understanding of your PC. And certainly if you're like me, an appreciation for that hand-built process that goes into each of these builds. So while the Starforge Voyager Creator may not be the most budget-friendly option, and it doesn't have an extensive legacy to rely on, it's definitely one of the better looking and quieter choices that you can buy in 2023 for these components. Again, we've got the Intel Core i7-13700K, we've got the Deepcool LS720 360mm all-in-one liquid cooler. Graphics, we've got the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti. For RAM, we've got Team Group Delta RGB 32GB DDR5 6000. We've got the 2TB Kingston KC3000 PCIe 4.0 NVMe. Motherboard, we've got the MSI Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi DDR5. For fans, we have 6 Deepcool FC 120mm. So when we compare the components used here in the Starforge Voyager Creator, we can basically make a very similar, nearly identical build using PC Part Picker. Doing so, our total comes to about $2,364.50 after a $10 rebate. However, this estimate doesn't include the components like I was saying earlier, the cable mod, as well as that custom backplate. So altogether, you could estimate maybe something closer to about $2,400 for a similar build with the exact same hardware. So that's how we got to our estimate of about $300 to $400 of savings if you were to build this yourself. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about what's in this very heavy box here. My first impressions are really good because the box came in excellent condition. Opening the box up, you're gonna find a layer of bubble wrap, and then in that you'll find the original Lee & Lee accessory box. That's gonna have all the additional things that would normally come with the case if you were to just buy it yourself. You'll also find the original MSI soft carrying pouch, which includes the additional cabling, which is associated with the MSI Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard. Lastly, you have the Starforge accessory box, which includes all the essential items, including the power cable, the Wi-Fi antennas for the motherboard, MSI badging stickers, as well as a Starforge quick setup guide, warranty card, and some additional information. And once you remove all that, you're going to get your first glimpse of the PC's rear side, showcasing its motherboard and I/O. The PC has this very thick padding on its top and bottom, which helps keep everything secure in transit. Just because of how big and heavy this is, we found it was actually easier to flip the box on its open side and then to lift the box up. Now with the PC out of its box, there are a couple other things that we need to do to get it ready. First off, you're going to have to remove its left panel glass in order to access the custom protective foam pieces that are surrounding the GPU, the motherboard, and the power supply. Once that's out of there, there's a small protective film on the cooler, remove that. And then there is protective film on each side of its glass panels, so you are going to also have to remove its front as well. With our build, we found that everything looked neatly tied, organized, and definitely had no signs of sloppiness. Before closing everything back up though, there is something interesting I want to point out, and that's within the case itself. You're going to find this custom foam board-like backplate that features their logo and several stars with cubes. These semi-transparent white shapes, including the stars, allows the RGB lighting from the RGB light strip, which is adhered on the backplate, to shine through. In addition to adding a nice touch of brand flavor to the unit and making it feel a little bit more custom than, just an off-the-shelf Lian case, I do have a few concerns with the design here. For one, the backplate attaches via a magnet but is very easy to knock off. And so with that being a more expensive PC, this is something that Starforge could have gone an extra step, maybe made something out of metal. The last steps are to install the Wi-Fi antennas and the power cable on the back. Power button is located on the top right side of the front panel, and when you press it, you'll notice instantly how the RGB lighting from its water cooler, RAM, fans, and that back panel are all in perfect synchronization. Once we finished with the usual boring Windows 11 setup, we were almost instantly prompted to go through the MSI update, which either had a lot of out-of-date or non-installed drivers. It's just a little bit of an extra step here that only took a few minutes, maybe a couple restarts. So now with all that out of the way and our computer ready to go, let's see how powerful this setup really is. Before getting into our benchmarks, you can see some of the other units that we have tested in the past. We only have one other desktop here for comparison, and that is the MSI Aegis RS. Starting off with PC Mark 10, setting the trend, the Starforge Voyager creator of course takes the lead. Though, and perhaps not too surprisingly, it doesn't have a commanding lead over the Aegis RS. With 3 Mark Time Spy, this is where the Starforge Voyager begins to flex those GPU muscles. Next up, even though this isn't targeted as a video editing machine, it definitely is a workhorse. With its score of 2720, it gets 1,000 points more than the Aegis RS, and you can see with the rest of its results, it has nearly twice the performance in DaVinci Resolve. Lastly, for our gaming benchmarks, we ran everything at the highest possible preset on a 2560 by 1080p monitor. In more GPU-intensive games like Red Dead Redemption 2, we noticed that GPU utilization reached about 99%, with temperatures hovering at approximately 71 degrees Celsius and power usage around 238 plus watts. On the other end of the spectrum, with less demanding games like Detroit Become Human, GPU utilization drops to under 50% and temperatures stay around a very cool 40 degrees Celsius. And yet we still get a very steady 60 frames per second without any drops. And then with another port over from PlayStation, we've got Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. We experience an average FPS ranging between 92 and 110, which is very, very good. But when you transition over to Gotham Knights, which is very poorly optimized for PC, results are an absurdly low CPU and GPU utilization of about 15 and 60% respectively. We found that we were usually getting about 58 to 62 frames per second in the open world and about 110 to 120 frames per second indoors. Hogwarts Legacy has been one of my favorite games in 2023, though it's another example of something that's not really the best optimized. It's very highly GPU bound with only about 11% CPU utilization. We achieved about 105 to 125 frames per second in the opening scene where we were following Professor Fig and learning the mechanics of the game. Not my cup of tea, but Mia's favorite game this year is the very popular Diablo 4. Far less demanding than all the other games that we've seen here, and we can easily achieve 220 plus frames per second. And then to wrap things up, of course, we've got Cyberpunk 2077. With all our visual settings maxed out, including ray tracing set to ultra, we experience frames per second between 55 to 62. The Starforge Voyager Creator undoubtedly impresses as a compelling gaming and streaming PC that offers the latest gen components, especially with that very beautiful and highly customizable Li case and its accompanying RGB lighting that beautifully shines through. Again, I think it's very natural to have reservations about choosing a relatively new and far lesser known system integrator like Starforge. But my experience with them has been remarkably positive with no complaints. They've aced the packaging, assembly, and component selection, ensuring that the PC arrives in pristine condition and is ready to go out of the box. And because I didn't run into any issues, I can't vouch for the customer support reliability or efficiency, but the fact that they do offer that very rare 2-year warranty showcases their confidence in their product, instilling a sense of reassurance for buyers. But that price tag can't be ignored, especially in a very competitive market that is price driven. Now, when we compare it to building a similar system that you could do yourself or exploring other pre-built options on the market, that extra cash could be spent on games, accessories, or simply tucked away into your pocket for another day. However, if the Voyager Creator's striking appearance resonates with you and you prioritize the convenience of a pre-configured system that comes with that extended warranty, then the Voyager Creator does make a noteworthy debut. Its powerful performance, meticulous design, and generous warranty make it an enticing choice for those looking to up their gaming and streaming experiences. But, of course, let us know your thoughts on this PC in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on Starforge? Is this a company you've even heard of before? This has been Paul with MakeUseOf.com, and until the next one, we'll catch you later.